And we should be live. Oh, hello everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome back to our Uncanny Adventure Call of Cthulhu. We are continuing Reign of Terror, a Call of Cthulhu adventure from Cassium, and it is written by Mark Morrison. And I have with me tonight my intrepid investigators. So we're going to go around and let them say hello again and reintroduce their characters. And we're going to let our player who is joining us tonight also introduce his characters. So we'll start on my screen with Dylan.
Oh, okay. I'm Dylan. Hi. I'm going to be playing Jean Dupois, who is a nasty, sour, drunk soldier who lost his wife last year. He's a monarchist, and he has a puppy now. So, there you go.
And Scott.
Hey, I'm going to be playing Christopher Pressi, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right because I'm not French, but he's a big romantic, to say the least. He's got a high stats and appearance, if you know what I mean.
And we call him Christophe. Christophe Pressi. All right, and Katy.
I am playing Joseph Hugel, also known as Martine Hugel, because she is in disguise as her husband who was injured. She is like very good at disguise and talking her way out of things, and is also a revolutionist. She does not support the monarchy or anything like that. She wants everything to go back to how it was. And she is tired of Pressi already. That's on me, though. That's me fucking with Scott.
That was a great cock-mock last time, though, I will admit.
Yep.
Left room for Leo. And then joining us tonight, we have Jamey, who is joining us. Jamey, tell us a little bit about yourself and your character.
A little bit about myself. I actually don't really stream too much, but I do play in Katy's home game. She's our DM. I drive her crazy every time with my sneak attack damage. And my character, I made the mistake of picking someone with an extremely French name. Etienne Babin. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly at all. But he is a proud and devout monarchist. He's described as large, robust, and handsome. He was a gunner in the military until his left hand was blown off through an errant gunpowder incident. And normally that would end somebody's career, but his good looks and military bearing meant that rather than being discharged, he was transferred to a non-combat role. So he's kind of in front of parades, standing sentry, carrying messages around, basically kind of like the color guard of the military, doing all the official proper stuff. And he has a adopted orphan gunner boy named Cesar, and Babin is using all of his money to put him through college to become a doctor, and he's very, very proud of his son. And he was picking him up and bringing him back to Paris when all the other shenanigans from last time happened. He's an extrovert, very enthusiastic, and sees the best in everybody, even though probably sometimes he shouldn't. But he got pretty far in life this way, so he's okay with it. And he has a artificial wooden left hand, and he's also slightly deaf because of being a gunner for so long, kind of messed with his hearing a little bit. So that's going to be fun to play.
All right. So last time we started our game, the members of the unit, the French army unit, were assigned during the night outside the catacombs of Paris. An overweight, heavyset doctor who serves the king and queen was helping direct as some hired civilians were bringing the bones and the bodies from the cemetery, because the cemeteries in Paris have become very overloaded over the years, down into the catacombs. While they were there, a white carriage with red trim came careening through the streets at fast speed, not even heeding the dangers of the populace in the street at all. And two men were run down while they were trying to work. Meanwhile, some of the workers in the catacombs came scrambling out, screaming about some kind of monster down below. They didn't want to go back in, but they were quickly encouraged to go back when the doctor ordered the soldiers to shoot one of the workers in order to drive the other ones back to their job. The soldiers accompanied them back into the catacombs just to keep an eye out, and there was in fact something strange that they encountered. But after a careful shot, the creature seemed to be wounded and ran away and disappeared into the darkness of the catacombs, and they didn't hear from it again during the evening. A while later, a captain arrived and directed the sergeant and his men to leave their post and go to a local printer where something had happened and they needed to investigate. On the way, Hugel stopped because there was some kind of small gathering outside one of the bakeries, and actually managed to thwart a possible riot, as there is not enough bread to go around, and people actually have to get on a waiting list for bread sometimes because of just a lack of food in general for the poor. At the printer shop, they found a very gruesome scene. They discovered that the printer, his wife, and his sons had all been murdered, and the family dog as well. The dog was decapitated. The family was hung from the ceiling with their throats slashed. Their blood was drained into buckets, and it was poured into the printing press, where it was used to print a message across the top of another pamphlet that the printer was printing. The printer had been encouraging the local populace to support themselves, to represent themselves, because the monarchy isn't doing what it can for the people. And this new message reminded these people that maybe they should know their place. Afterward, our investigators traveled to Versailles. They were sent to meet with the captain. When they got there, they waited while their sergeant dealt with finding the captain, figuring out where they had to go. Pressi saw in the gardens behind the palace the beautiful love interest that he swoons over at church sometimes, but she was being hit on by another handsome young gentleman, so Pressi, deciding to not lose his game, hit on a few of the other young ladies who were unaccompanied. Meanwhile, the group was led into a meeting inside one of the apartments in the palace, and there, the doctor, who had been working in the catacombs, told them that he needed them to do a mission for him. That a certain count had the ear of the queen, and he didn't trust this German count. And he wanted them, this group, to travel to the count's residence and find evidence that he is not who he says he is, so that the doctor can prove to the king and queen that he is not a friend of France and can have him expelled from court. So, where we left off, the party had recognized that this count that they're going to investigate was the owner of the carriage that had actually run down the citizens in Paris outside the catacombs. They'd confronted his manservant, who had been less than cooperative. And now they're waiting outside the doors of the palace while the sergeant collects their final orders from the captain before they head out to follow up on this mission. And approaching them across the way is none other than Babin.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
He's gonna walk on over to everybody, making sure his uniform is still as pristine as it should be.
I see you keep your uniform just as pristine as you should.
But of course, I'm in charge of all the parades. I'm right up front. I have to look pretty.
Martine is just sort of standing there at attention, being on her best behavior.
All right, and as you guys look around, it's still the same as before. All these different aristocrats are milling about. They seem to just, drinking and eating and flirting amongst each other and just enjoying each other's company as if they have no cares in the world. You did hear last time in some conversation between some of them. It sounded like the Dauphin, the crown prince, has taken ill. He's been taken back to Paris to be treated by the doctor. But the king and queen are still here in Versailles in residence. You can see in the distance behind the palace, Marie Antoinette has like a mock village set up. And you've heard tale, like you've never seen her do it, but you've heard how she likes to play at being a milkmaid. And she dresses up and she goes out and she likes to pretend to be, of lowly birth and just play in her little village, which it actually angers the locals quite a bit. They don't like that she plays at their lifestyle when she has one that's so much above them. Pressi, you can see now, Melody Benoit and her father, Count Benoit, are still walking through the garden together. The young gentleman who kind of caught her ear has wandered off with his comrade and are kind of talking amongst themselves as they walk through the garden. And it's probably about mid-afternoon now, and just everything's kind of calmed down. Servants running back and forth, delivering food and wine and cleaning up after this rabble of aristocrats. So what do you guys want to do?
She turns to look at Pressi and Dupois. I believe we should fill in our new companion, and then perhaps question the Count, or at least see where he is.
We were supposed to go to his estate, yes?
Yes, that is true. Maybe I could go ask some of these nice ladies if we can get some more information on them. I'm sure that at least one of them has heard a few rumors from the Count.
In character, she's shaking her head, just eyes closed.
So
obviously, I'm Melody, right? Melody.
Melody, yes.
Yes.
Dupois just rolls his eyes and takes a swig.
So, Pressi, you know that Melody's father, the Count, has forbade her to see you. Like when you two catch each other in moments of quiet, it's usually like during mass when he's distracted or afterward. He is absolutely against you having anything to do with his daughter. He does not see you as high enough birth to qualify to be anywhere near Melody. So anytime he's around, you have to keep kind of a distance, because he has angrily chased you away with his cane before after mass.
You said he walked away. I'm wondering if that meant away, or he's just keeping an eye on the other side of the party or something.
He and Melody are kind of walking sort of down one of the paths behind the palace in the garden. And
okay. He's keeping her on a tight leash.
He is, but while you are looking and kind of looking around, someone does come up and tap you on the shoulder, and you hear this little voice, and she's like, "Bonjour."
Bonjour. I put on my act.
You turn around and you see a very beautiful young woman. She's got her wig all done up nicely. She's in this beautiful dress, and you recognize her. Her name is Madame de Brienne. She is actually married to a very old aristocrat, Count de Brienne, and so she is kind of sort of the court flirt. She kind of flirts around because her husband is sort of old and senile. He can't see too well and he doesn't hear too well either, and she loves the gossip circles. She just likes to be in the know on whatever's going on. And she's very friendly. She waves to all of you in the unit. She's like, "Oh, hello."
I greet her properly by holding her hand and then kissing the ring.
She smiles and she says, "How are you? Are you trying to catch a sweet moment with the love of your life over there?"
Yes, but alas, it appears that it is out of my grasp at the moment.
Yes, I did see that young Marco was trying to catch her eye. In fact, the Count is very interested in Marco, perhaps wooing Melody. How would you feel about that, Pressi?
I believe you know how I would feel about that.
Oh.
Maybe he needs a talking to.
Marco? Oh, yes, I mean, perhaps. He is a brash young man, new to court, but he is handsome to look on. Perhaps when my husband passes on, or not.
Is this the Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
guy?
Yes, it's Leo.
If possible, I try to get like the latest gossip and rumors about the noblemen, specifically about the count we're looking for. But I'm probably trying to be fairly discreet about it, not like opening right out of the gate. Like, hey, what do you know about this guy we're going to his house for?
Sure. So she'll make small talk for a few minutes about it, and then as you kind of segue around, and she kind of shares with you a little bit, you know, she brings up the Dauphine. She shares with you, this and that about other happenings in court. She tells you about how supposedly, the king has decided to, she flips her head up in the air when she says it. Oh, he's decided to have the aristocrats, the next, what, you know, whatever, and then the poor are all supposed to have a say in some gathering sometime in the month or so. I think it's rubbish. The king should just tell everyone what to do, but this is a new idea he has for the governance of France at the moment, I suppose. And then she'll come around to Fenelek, and when she does, she looks like she pales slightly, which is pretty impressive considering she's fairly pale to begin with. And she says, well, he is rumored to have the most extravagant soirees at his estate. As my husband is not the soiree type, we do not attend these parties, and I, of course, it would be not appropriate for me to attend without my husband. But I don't know much more than that. It's usually very hush-hush as to why they're so amazing, but it's an invitation is so sought after now here in the palace and in court that I'm almost curious, but at the same time he makes me very nervous. I've seen him, he's looked on me when speaking to my husband before, and I mean, men look on me. I am beautiful, but I don't think he looks on me because of that. It's almost like I feel like he's looking on me like some kind of piece of meat. It's his eyes, they're so just, there's no emotion there. He bothers me terribly. And she kind of looks around like she's nervous somebody might have heard her say that.
Some men can be quite savages. They disguise themselves with the mask of man.
This is very true. This is why, though my husband is an older man, he's not a bad man. So if I had to choose to marry someone, I would take him again as my husband. But that is enough about me. I am keeping you, though, am I not? You have things to do?
Would it be possible you could get me an invitation to one of these parties? Maybe I could return the favor in some way?
Perhaps I can. Do me a favor, Scott. Roll me a luck roll.
Oh,
boy! All right, here we
These
go.
always go so well.
I mean, I'm the bard of the party. I gotta be doing this stuff. I just need to find the luck.
It's under your HP.
it's already going well.
The green button, right?
Yes. She says, I could try, but I don't know that it would not look strange for me to ask, but I will try to do my best. She says, I will see you soon if I can acquire one. And she will excuse herself to go, and you see her husband kind of hobbling by with his cane, and he's got one of those like ear horns kind of around his neck and the biggest like glasses on his face, and he's just hobbling along. So she goes along and she kind of catches him under the arm and sort of pecks him on the cheek, and then over the shoulder she gives you all a wave goodbye. So meanwhile, as this has happened, the sergeant comes back out from inside the palace, and he looks around at you all, and he says, come with me. And he kind of escorts you into just a quiet corner away from the hubbub, and he says, we are to leave at once. We are to secure our horses and anything we might need, and we're to go to this Pressi, to the Count's estate. This is a secret. No one else must know besides those of us here. We cannot be spotted. This can't come back, because if we don't find proof that Fenelik is doing things against the king, we are all in very real trouble, as he has the ear of Marie Antoinette, the queen. And should he turn us in, and she believes him, all of us may face the guillotine. So,
what exactly is he trying to do to the king? Do you know?
I do not know exactly what the doctor and the captain suspect. They have not filled me in completely. This man has only recently arrived at court within this year, and somehow, even being a foreigner, they tell me he's German. He has risen so high in favor that the queen simply will see him at request, and other notable aristocrats curry his favor. It is very disturbing. He seems to just move so freely through these inner circles that he should not have such freedom in, and the doctor thinks he is up to something and wants to prove it. But we have to be careful, because being an aristo, we cannot confront him without evidence, or it is our heads that will be on the chopping block. And he looks around, he's like, do you all understand?
We.
All right then. And so he says, he starts to lead you out, and as he's leading you out, all of a sudden you start to hear screams coming from like the garden. Just like it starts like a small cluster, and then you can see like people sort of running around and others screaming, and you see like some of the servants running and like just dashing into the palace. Some of them are running into where the carriages are kept for the king and queen, and you see them carrying like bags and luggage out, and there is just like complete mayhem all of a sudden, and people are freaking out. So who wants to roll me some listen checks to see if you can catch more than just the screaming?
I'm totally going to.
All right.
Oh my god! hold on.
Damn it.
That's 8 points of luck. Oh.
Don't do it.
You want to hear it. You want to do it. You do.
I know I want to do it, but I'm like already really low on luck.
But you really want to do it.
I don't want to push it. Is someone else going to roll? Or are you leaving this all on me?
Okay. I didn't know we could all roll.
Yes, you can all roll.
I'll roll for a laugh.
I don't want to. Yeah, because you're deaf. I don't want to. Oh my god!
I succeeded.
You succeeded! That's out of 20. That's like the dumbest luck in the world.
The partially deaf guy.
So
Years.
So while Pressi and Hugel are sort of like looking around in surprise, and Dupois doesn't seem to care either way. It's just like, oh, these, the aristos are losing it over something. Babin actually is standing close enough to a couple of servants, and you hear them say, the Dauphine is dead. That the crown prince has died, and the king and queen are packing up to head back to Paris immediately. And there's like just complete mayhem at this moment, as everyone is passing the word to each other.
Babin will turn to the rest of the group and just say, the prince is dead. He died.
Oh.
Sure, we should leave then. This is going to put the whole palace into an uproar. It's already happening.
Yes, the sergeant looks around and he says, yes, we must go, because now everyone will be leaving here with the king and queen leaving. We must hurry to Pressi, and be prepared to enter the Count's residence and find this evidence for the doctor. The Queen will be completely beside herself. This is a moment where this man may try to take advantage of her grief. We cannot have that. We must hurry. Yes, we must hurry. And he quickly starts leading you across toward the stables where you put your horses and things like that. And you see these other aristocrats moving and running. Everybody roll me spot hidden checks as this is happening.
Okay, I was about to ask, can I like look for something? But
You looked real good.
I totally don't see anything.
Nope.
That person has Ebola. I can see the germs.
Okay.
They were hidden.
So as you guys are all making double time for the stable, for your horses, and where your packs and everything's were left, Pressi, you see through this throng of aristocrats who are like going to their wagons and stuff. You see this figure sort of just walking through the crowd, just kind of marching with just purpose, not pausing. People are actually getting out of his way. He's wearing a long coat that goes down to like his knees. He's got this perfectly manicured wig, and you kind of stop as your comrades kind of get ahead of you a little bit, and you have this flash of like memory, and you remember the other night. You remember that carriage rushing at those two men in the road, and you realize that in the heat of everything and the speeding wagon and these men getting hit, you've seen this man before. You saw him in the carriage for a split second. He was sitting in the back, his arms wrapped around a woman. He was leaning in, kissing her neck, and his eyes sort of like made contact with yours for just a minute, but they were this deep, like dark, haunting eye, and you kind of shiver for a second. Roll me a power check, please, Pressi.
I don't even know what that means.
Am I using magic now?
It's will, basically.
Yeah, it's basically
Okay.
like you're okay. So
Oh wow.
so it does for just a second, sort of, you feel this chill down your spine. You can just roll me a sanity check real quick. Okay. You only lose 1 point of sanity though, because your power check was so extreme. But you like kind of just freeze up for a second as you see this man just strutting, and he is making a direct line for the white and red carriage.
If I can, I'm gonna scream, "You stop!" And I like try to do it loud enough so the rest of the group hears this as I start to pursue him.
Oh. Dupois turns around and is like, Pressi, what?
But
What are you doing?
I won't pursue him completely unless I know everybody's following me. So if it's just me, I'm not gonna go on a suicide mission.
I mean, Dupois will go after Pressi just to like stop him because he's like, what the fuck are you doing, you idiot?
You see me grabbing my gun too, by the
Oh
way.
Jesus. Can I try and catch up and stop you? I don't know what I'd have to roll for that.
So you can run after him, and the sergeant actually turns around and says, "Soldiers, halt!" to both of you as you're running, and
I stop.
and he kind of double times to catch up too, and as he does, do Babin and Hugel follow the sergeant over as well?
I'm immediately pointing towards the carriage and the guy, like to the sergeant.
I think if I've seen the sergeant, I wouldn't have really cared if it was Pressi, but if I watched the sergeant go after Pressi, then yes, I would have.
Yeah,
Then it
Babin,
seems serious.
Babin would probably take an extra 2 steps before he heard and realized what was happening, and then he'll go after them.
All right, so the Count, actually having heard you yelling, he stops his clipped walk toward his carriage. He turns around and he comes walking back toward you. And he is like glaring into Pressi, like into your eyes. But you see like sort of his head cock as you keep his stare. You don't kind of turn away from it at this point. And he walks over and he says, Bonjour. What do you need? Do I know you?
No, but I believe we've seen each other maybe a night ago.
You do have a face that's one of those faces someone maybe couldn't forget.
I could say the same. Wait, you seem to be rather calm in this situation. As I'm looking around, and probably still people panicking and stuff.
There will be enough people who are out of their minds. Some of us need to keep our heads in order to comfort those that are grieving. A shame to hear about the boy. Consumption is a terrible disease, especially in one so young.
Wait, sorry, I'm forgetting which boy.
The Dauphin, the prince?
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was the boy here, like the prince, or if it was the kids that were killed last session.
No.
I wasn't sure.
No, he is referring to the prince.
Okay. I give him the glare, but I don't have the jurisdiction to do anything here.
He says, he looks at you all and he says, I have heard that the boy's doctor has been responsible for exhuming the dead. What if that fat old man infected him? Wouldn't that just be a shame? And his expression doesn't change when he's doing this. He doesn't look like it's just a flat kind of stare.
Okay. I said, yes, that would be a shame. And Pressi's pretty much done with the conversation because obviously he's not going to get anything from him. And like the sergeant said, he has no evidence on him. So I can't do crap here without getting my head on the chopping block.
He smiles, this like emotionless smile. It does not touch his eyes. And he says, I bid you adieu. I must make haste away today. And he just sort of turns and starts to walk back toward his carriage where the footman has the door open and is waiting for him and has already kind of pulled up the cloth over his face, the dark black cloth that he had over his face the other night. And as he's passing another carriage, you see him, Fenelek, turn and say, well, I see you tonight then, my dear. And you just see an older man lean out, and you recognize Melody's father lean out, and he says, yes, she will be accompanying Marco de Fabio to your residence tonight. Please, keep a close eye on my daughter, will you, Count? And he says, of course, sir. And then he continues to his carriage and climbs in. And before, without even heeding other people who are coming and going, you see him, the footman climb up, get in the driver's seat, and whip the horses up, and they take off at speed out of the gates.
I like to think when anybody interferes with Pressi, because he's probably just going to sit there, staring in awe, oh my god, what the hell? It's going to do the camera thing where the camera physically moves forward towards Pressi's face, but it zooms out, so, the background kind of, you know that camera effect I'm talking about. That's it.
Okay.
The sergeant says, we must make haste immediately if we're to find any evidence. We must get the Poissy and set our plan in motion, and we have to get back here with it.
No more stupidity. And Dupois just sort of slaps Pressi on the shoulder.
He says, we will go to the Count's, we will infiltrate the grounds, we will find this evidence, we'll bring it back for the captain and for the doctor, and we'll do our duty for France. That man. Ugh.
Germans.
Yes.
Ugh.
So, he hands you quickly just a quick letter to, say, run to the, get any supplies you need. He has he's scratched out orders if you guys need any ammunitions or anything like that from the barracks before you run, and he's going to get the horses ready to go.
I'm getting munitions. I've fired a few, mostly.
Okay.
Last session, remember I shot at the dog?
Oh yes. So he hands you the writ so you can go quickly and get basically if you need gunpowder or anything like that.
All right. Make sure have enough. I don't think we'll need it, but just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case there's a monster or anything.
The only monster here is man. Let's see.
It's true.
That
in
is
case.
true.
Just in case someone's tongue is on melodies and it isn't mine.
Shit.
Well then.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, that
Wait,
guy.
what's my sanity? Never mind.
And now we know why
For
Pressy's gonna
France,
die
for
first. He's gonna pop off on someone.
It's possible. All right. So
Wow.
you collect your gear, you collect your horses, and you ride for Pressi.
I gotta ask, is there a misfire mechanic for Flintlock? Because that'd be a hilariously sad way for Chris to die.
But yeah, if you roll a critical fail,
Fumble.
just
I mean-
ask Babin about his hand.
I was gonna say, I think we know how misfires work.
Mhm.
Okay, good to know.
Yes. All right. So you head out. It is summer. It's June. You head through the Forest de Saint Germain. It's a kind of nice weather, but the road traffic is fairly sparse as you're heading along at this hour, and the shadows in the trees seem longer and darker than you feel comfortable with. And as you're riding, you notice it's quiet. Like, the normal animal sounds aren't being heard from the forest off the road. And it's very unnerving how just quiet and shadowy it is on this beautiful summer day that you're riding through. But you make a good time, and toward late afternoon, you do arrive in the small town. It's a collection of tall houses that range around a square, and there's a steeple of the church that overshadows the town. So as the afternoon is lengthening, you can hear as you're riding through, like, mothers calling for their children to come in for dinner and things like that. It looks like the windows and things, though, they're shuttered even on this nice day. And the doors to the inn are also kept closed as you ride past it. You can see up on a hill, a ways up away from the town itself, there is this large, like, manse, and the sergeant points out that is Count Fenelic's estate and mansion. And so as you're riding through, you can see some local commoners and stuff just moving about. They kind of eye you as you go by, but none of them, like, sort of try to get your attention or talk to you. They sort of try to go about their business.
Well, we're rushing up there, right? Does anyone else want to stop, or?
Man, I don't think Hugel would see the point to stop. She would just continue on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like this is kind of the prime opportunity for us to get some
Information.
movement in. If he's going to go, because the prince is dead, so he'd presumably be comforting Marie Antoinette. So this is probably our best shot right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So as you guys are heading up, the sergeant says, I think that we should err on the side of caution. I think that Beaumains and I should watch the road, and the rest of you should take the woods to the mansion itself. I don't think that we should be seen approaching officially to Fenelic's mansion at this time. Just in case.
Good idea, Sergeant.
So he will kind of dismount as you guys kind of go up the cobblestone road a little ways, and he gets off and starts to lead his horse kind of off into the tree line.
Mm-hmm.
And he has you guys follow him in. When you guys kind of are off the road and out of sight, make me listen checks.
Hey guys, I failed every roll I've made.
Yeah, you have. Jesus.
I realistically failed this time.
Hey, Dupois could spend some,
Yeah, that's not a lot of luck to push it.
Sure, I'll do it.
25 points.
Okay. And Scotty, did you roll a listen check?
Yeah, I succeeded. It said.
Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. So, Dupois and Pressi, you kind of are bringing up the rear into the tree line, and you hear a very familiar sound of wagon wheels on stone. And you turn and look through the trees, and you see a white carriage with red trim racing up the cobblestone heading for the mansion. And you realize that Fenelix's carriage has returned to Poissy.
Yikes.
The sergeant turns and says, "Damn it! He didn't go to the city. We must be even more careful not to be seen and caught. Perhaps we should head up and see what this mansion looks like." So he
I
will...
feel like he might be expecting us, though. He knows we're curious.
Perhaps not. Let's tie off the horses here, and we'll go a little ways further, and then the four of you, and he points at you four, can do some reconnaissance up to the house itself. So Beaumains and the sergeant tie off their horses, and they head back toward the road to keep an eye out with their muskets. And you four are left to your own devices. What do you want to do?
Okay, so how is this house set up? Is there like a wall around the house, like separating it from the woods? Or is it just woods and then the house?
Okay, so as you move up through the trees to get a better look, just roll me a spot hidden. All four of you, because you're all going.
Oh.
Everyone but Katy.
Literally!
It really is. Wow.
I am so angry!
Have you succeeded on a roll yet?
That is the lowest you've rolled tonight. That 79 is the lowest you've rolled tonight.
It's cool. I have Burning Wheel tomorrow. Get it out of my system, roll 20. Do it. Get it out of my fucking system.
Like from last session and this session, have you succeeded?
Like what?
No, she did. She did the cock block me.
I did.
That's true.
Literally, to do something shitty, I succeeded. And then I succeeded to talk the people out of trying to kill the baker.
That's true.
That was important. Good job. All right.
I quit, Jeanette. I'm done.
No, I love you for having these
for
rolls.
45 minutes and I'm done.
No, I love it. It's great.
Miguel's just like, I'm a woman.
I'm a woman.
Hear me roar.
I hate the monarchy.
Oh.
Babal gasps.
Dupois may just shoot you.
I don't know what persuasion would be, but you feel your persuasion. We're like, no, that's definitely a guy.
Yeah.
I've seen many men. This is true.
This is the manliest man I have ever seen.
All right, so everybody but
Sorry.
Hugel, you see that the mansion is, the grounds are surrounded by a wall. It's about 10 feet tall, made of brick. The top of it is surmounted with spikes, and the wall obscures the house's ground floor from view. You can see the second story and the roof visible above the wall. And it looks like this stone wall goes around the entire property, and it's fairly large, but it also has trees and stuff inside the property line that go a distance to the house. Like, you figure the house itself is probably about 200 feet from the front gates of the wall, and it sits kind of at the center of the wall itself. And there's around the west, east, and northern sides, it looks like there's maybe 100 feet or so of forest trees inside the wall. So you do see that it looks like there is cover if you were to get into the grounds or go over the wall.
So from here, what is the range of the building, like the windows and stuff from the building to here?
You think unless somebody's looking from the second floor, they wouldn't have a good view. So if they're on the first floor, they won't see you. You can't see them. And there's a lot of cover from the trees to get to the wall, and then it looks like there's a lot inside the wall itself. but you can't really see the back of the property. You'd have to kind of do a perimeter search to kind of figure out what's what behind that.
I think Hugel was already sort of like quietly nodding at the rest of the group and like sneaking around the perimeter looking for any weak spots.
Yeah. Babin would go as well, kind of see if there's some sort of other way in besides the main gate.
And she's doing it very stealthily.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think. Pressi is more of like a sniper, so he might want to like just stay here and observe from here, where you guys. Like you guys could sneak, and he could stay and keep watch. But but this is like.
And have it in
we're
case
just trying to get evidence,
right?
It's not an assassination.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I don't know what.
I mean, no, I understand. I like that plan. You could get a good vantage point, so we could have a signal, like a whistle or something. If you see someone coming toward us, we may not see.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that.
And I'll let you keep eyes on the house to see if the Count is doing anything.
Mm-hmm. I like that. If you're a sniper, that means you would probably have a better, chance of seeing things from a higher vantage point than we would actually on ground on foot.
As we know from last session, I'm really good at whistling, so maybe I can make like a mockingbird sound or something as like the signal.
Okay. So Pressi shows you what's it sound like, Scott?
I can't actually whistle in real life, unfortunately.
Oh,
Like a whistling bird noise, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't whistle either. Don't worry.
all right.
Yeah, like that.
All right. So are the rest of you going to scout around the building while Pressi waits? All right. Good. So, which way do you want to go? You can go to the west and around the outer fence that way, or you can cross the cobblestone road and go to the east and around the other side.
She looks at the two of you and says, I hate to be the one that asks, but do we split up and cover more ground?
If we do split up, if one of us gets caught, then not all of us are compromised.
Exactly.
This is true. True.
The rest of us might be able to have some sort of excuse for why the one who was caught is alone, or that might not compromise all of us.
Yeah, to be fair, if Pressi got caught, none of you did. I don't think anyone would blame you, for sure, because he's been the hot-headed one here. Like, you guys have been, like, keeping it down low, and Pressi's just been like, no, I'm gonna yell at you.
I do not know if the sergeant will approve of us splitting up, however. We are a squad.
True.
Sometimes we have to make important decisions in order to get the job done. I believe you said that.
Very well.
And then
Where are we all going then?
Babin will go east, so he has to cross the cobblestone.
Okay.
I think Hugo will go with Babin.
Okay. Then I will go around through the forest that we're already in.
With your puppy.
Yeah, my puppy.
Oh yeah, you have that puppy.
Yeah.
So Dupois is not alone. He has his puppy. All right.
I have my partner.
You do indeed have your partner. All right. So you split up. Pressi stays near the front by the road in the woods, and the rest of you split east and west, heading around this wall. And you see that the brick wall, it does indeed, as you're going along and following the perimeter, it covers the whole perimeter around this. It's a few hundred feet in either direction that you keep walking through the tree line and things like that. Give me those walking around. Give me spot hidden checks.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
We got this, guys.
So, Babin almost trips over and falls in a hole, but Hugel manages to catch him, and as such, they don't see anything, but it's a little overgrown on this eastern side, so it's a little harder to cover. Dupois, you and the puppy are kind of making your way around, and it looks like there's none of you see any like easy ways to enter. You do ended up meeting up with each other at the back portion of the wall, but it does look like you could climb over the wall. You just have to be very careful of the spikes, and you're not sure what's on the other side on this end, now that you've gotten all the way to the back of the property.
Dupois sort of looks at himself, sort of pudgy, fat, old. He's like, I don't know about climbing. There doesn't look like there's any other gates but the front one, however. The spikes look nasty.
Babin is going to look at Hugel and say, I believe you're the most able-bodied one here.
He has a point.
Well, all right then. I imagine I'll still need help, but all right.
Babin can give you a hand.
I'll give you a hand, and he starts to unscrew his hand.
God damn it! I set myself up for it, and I knew you were gonna do it. Oh God, I hate my life.
That's one.
I hate every decision I've made. Up
Make it up the board.
No.
Do we get a sanity check?
The Call of Cthulhu drinking game. Eddie
I just fumbled a real life sanity check.
Katy has temporary madness.
No.
So if they're going to assist you, you can roll with a bonus die to your roll.
Babin will assist.
Yeah, same.
So I guess I'm just like hoisting myself up.
Yes, you're going to make a climb check
Okay.
with a bonus dice. Ooh, so yes, indeed. So you are able to pull yourself up with the assistance of your comrades and get up onto the wall so you can get a better look at the back of the property. So what you can see is there's quite a lot of trees, but you can see through to where the back of the mansion is. And it looks like there is a garden back there. It looks overgrown with roses and other plants and things like that. It actually looks like to you it might give good cover to get all the way up to the back of the actual house if you were to be able to go over the wall this way. You can see amongst these overgrown plants there are some like stone paths that have been laid, and you can't really make them out, but it looks like there's various statuary and stuff like that, like different statues maybe and fountains and things decorating the back of the house. And otherwise, from here everything looks pretty quiet back here. Meanwhile, up front, Pressi, give me a listen roll.
Huh? What? No, I joked.
So, Pressi, you begin to hear, it's distant at first, but then you hear the clack, clack, clack of horse hooves on cobblestone and carriage wheels, and you start to realize it's not one. And then you see through your vantage point in the trees, coming up this cobblestone road from down in the town, carriages. And as they're passing by, you can see inside of them are these various aristos. And they're all dressed up as if to attend a party. So they keep coming. They roll through, and you see at the top of the hill, the gates of the mansion start to swing open as these carriages start to arrive, and they start pulling up the long driveway heading toward the mansion.
I give the signal.
All right, the rest of you make me listen checks.
Listen, yeah.
Oh, God.
I finally succeeded.
We all
I'm muted.
succeeded.
I just
You
clapped.
succeeded by one, Jamey. Holy shit.
I like to think that whenever Babin actually succeeds on a listen, he's been trained enough to be able to block out extra noise to focus in on something, especially if he's listening for a signal. So
you all hear Pressi's signal in a distant, like light whistle. on the wind. Pressi, make me a spot hidden check while you're watching these carriages go by.
Oh no.
Ah,
I already know what he's gonna say.
I'm using up all my luck now. The second I need to fire a shot, I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna like crit fail. Watch.
so you watch these carriages pass by, and you see in one carriage you see a young gentleman, and he is turned facing a beautiful young woman who you recognize as Melody Benoit, and he is talking away at her. Make a psychology check.
Oh, I'm really good at those.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So she looks somewhat bored by him. Like she's not really that interested, but she's here, so she's kind of paying attention. And then the carriage kind of passes by and goes up the drive and in through the gates and kind of disappears up the driveway toward the mansion and that area of the house. What are you doing, Pressi? Do you hold your position?
Sorry, I pressed spacebar. My bad.
That's hilarious.
I can't see the rest of my squad, right?
Not at all. They split off, went somewhere into the woods back up toward the property, and you're not sure where they are.
Okay. I really want to go there, but I've realized now after my scenario back there when the prince got killed that I can't really do anything with aristocrats. So, and I gave the signal, and why it would be really foolish if somebody who like shot a flare and then they move their location. You know, that's just like the reason you do it is to tell people where you're at. So he's gonna stay put and wait for the rest of his group to show up.
All right, so the rest of you are back at the back wall. Hugel has taken in the gardens and the back of the house, and you hear Pressi signal on the wind.
When Hugel hears it, she's like clamoring down.
Make me a jump roll.
Oh no! Oh no!
Do either Babin or Dupois want to make a dexterity check to catch Hugel as Hugel
Babin would.
catches her part of her uniform on one of the spikes at top of the wall?
Oh no.
Babin will attempt. Oh gosh, I'm not good at these. Hey, it's extreme.
Hugel, you are falling, and you see the ground rushing up at you, and your momentum is stopped as Babin gets underneath you and catches you, and sets you on your feet upright, safely.
There you go, lad.
Thank you. She's sort of like shocked, and she's like looking at both of you, looking at you, Babin. I think we should hide or go. That was the signal.
We should go to Pressi.
Yes. And she's going to take
what's
off.
going on.
Yeah. Babin's going to go back to the tree line and go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it takes you all a few minutes, but you manage to find Pressi stowed away in his hiding place. And you see some of these carriages making their way up the driveway. And now, from this position, Pressi, you've watched as the lights in the house they've come up. There's like footmen who have come out and who are greeting guests and things like that, and waiting at the gates to direct them in. And there is quite a hubbub starting to build here.
Melody.
This will make it difficult.
That's not even half of it. Melody was in one of those carriages. And he like puts his hand to his heart.
Babin just shakes his head.
I don't think that's what we need to be worried about. There are
What
bigger...
if she gets hurt?
I'm sure she'll be fine. She's a very capable young woman.
Oh. Some men, they're animals. They just take advantage of women. How dare they?
She stares at Pressi and goes, I know.
No, not like that.
Babin just has like this huge smile on his face.
But this might,
Has a frown.
as much as I don't want to admit it, this might actually be the best distraction we have.
We could at least get into the gate to the next tree line.
I just don't want you going in there expecting only one host when we had a lot of guests.
At least it might cover our any noise we might make.
And perhaps he will be distracted.
I do not know if going to the front would be a good idea. I'm not good at climbing, but going around the back seems more...
We didn't go far. There might be weak spots in the wall for us to get.
I look at everyone's soldier outfits that are now covered in thorns and leaves and twigs and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, we definitely shouldn't go through the front.
There's like a dog popping out of Dupois' collar.
He just reaches up and he licks at Dupois' chin.
Are there still carriages coming through that we can see?
There are some carriages still coming up the road. Like there's a good line of them making their way up.
Hugel looks at the rest of you and goes, or we can commandeer a carriage in someone's clothes.
I was actually thinking something similar, but...
That would be illegal. You can tell he's satirical.
Babin is not satirical when he says that's illegal.
Shouldn't protecting the queen and finding information about the death of the Dauphin be more important?
That is true.
If this Count Finalik is trying to overthrow the king, yes, certainly. A footman thrown in the dirt and knocked out is not that big of a deal compared to that.
And determining the size of what we commandeer, one of us could be the footman, one of us could be the guest, and the rest others could hide in the carriage.
Can the rest of us see the carriages from where we're standing?
Yeah, from where you are, you guys are maybe like 15, 20 feet into the tree line to stay out of sight. And it's the sun is starting to set, it's getting to be dusk. But you can see them coming up the road, and you hear them, like the horse hooves and stuff like that.
Are there like any gaps between the carriages? Because if they're coming in at a steady pace, it's going to be hard to ambush one.
There are starting to be, like, there was a group that kind of arrived in succession, but they're starting to it's slowing, so there's a few gaps now, as they didn't all appear to come from the same place together.
And if it's dark, it would be easier to get one on its own as well without being noticed.
Well, Babin's going to look at all of us. We are military. We could divert one.
You're the expert here. I'll leave this up to you. I mean, in character you are.
Yeah.
So maybe we should do like a wolf pack thing where one person comes in from the front and everybody else comes in from the sides. Maybe the front one's the distraction. Maybe like
one of us stops it while the others.
Yes. Look, that was a perfect plan. That was a great plan.
You have the most prestige, more likely to stop to you.
Babin's going to look at his uniform and see it's no longer pristine. It's like a quick moment of inner turmoil.
Just clean yourself off a bit. You'll be fine.
And he'll brush off any thorns or...
How's Pressi? How's his outfit?
Pressi still looks fairly clean. Like, you didn't go up and into the heavier woods with the brambles and things like that.
Maybe I could. I got the face for it at least.
We could do that.
Don't do anything foolish if we go at that.
Yes, don't be hot-headed.
If there are any women in the carriage, you keep your...
I know my manners. Now, what if this goes south?
We've already decided to do it, so we're going to do it.
Maybe at any time. Maybe we should meet back right here. If any of this goes bad, not just getting in, but maybe trying to get out. I don't know.
Sounds fair enough.
He's the one with the plans. I
As you feed the plants. We meet back here if anything goes wrong, and if the carriage overtaking goes bad, we run.
Into the woods, yes.
Into the woods.
We scatter like men.
That is what men do. She's dragging men this whole time, and no one even realizes it.
Pressi just like gives you a double look, like what?
Okay, so
Gosh.
so these carriages are passing by. So Pressi, you're going to step out into the roadway to get one's attention.
I guess so.
And where are the rest of you as he is doing this?
Dupois is off to the side, sort of towards the back of this carriage, because he has like pock marks and stuff on his face, so he's not exactly someone you want to look at so much. So he'll be on that team, I guess.
Okay. And where are Hugel and Babin going to be?
Babon will be on the other side of the carriage.
All
They're
right.
coming in from the other direction from where Dupois is.
All right. So you wait a few minutes in between, and when there's a lull, and you kind of dart across in the growing shadows to the other side of the cobblestones, and you kind of get in the trees on the other side. And Hugel, where will you be when this
I
is
think
happening?
I'm gonna follow Dupois.
Okay. All right. So Pressi, what are you doing?
I was gonna wave down the wagon, maybe make an excuse like I need like a cloth to polish my shoes or something. I was gonna head there.
Okay, so you wait, and another wagon is another carriage is rolling up this cobblestone, and you sort of signal at the horse driving the horses. So he pulls the horses up, and he says, "How can I help you this evening, soldier?"
I see your way to the banquet. I was too, but unfortunately I fell into a bush over there. We were told to be guards, but I can't be looking like this. Perhaps maybe you could have at least a rag I could borrow.
He sort of looks you up and down and says, and he pulls out just a rag from like the bench near him, kind of shakes it off, and he says, "Will this do, sir?" And you hear from inside the carriage, "Why are we stopping? We must be going to the party." And he hands it down to you.
Do I recognize the voices at all?
I
can highly doubt it.
No, you don't. Not this one. This isn't
Okay.
someone that you recognize.
I move up slowly to the carriage to get it. What's everybody else doing?
Dupois is slowly making his way towards the back of the carriage, sort of like towards the door.
You want to roll me a hidden check, please?
Sure.
Sweet.
Let me see. Wait, what was it?
A stealth check.
Oh, stealth. Okay. Crap, where the hell's my stealth?
It's in the
Oh, there it is. Uh-oh. No, okay, I'm not gonna spend the luck for that.
Oh,
It didn't show up for me.
It didn't show up.
thinking a bit, but I'm assuming
No?
it failed.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
You know what?
So you were sneaking up.
You did not want that. Oh, you did not.
Oh no,
want
no,
that.
actually that is a crit fail on the part of the driver to hear any.
Oh, okay.
So Dupois.
I thought that was for us.
On the yeah.
Yeah, no, that is so Dupois. You are going across, and while Babin and Hugel are like, over the like as Dupois sort of steps and the puppies sort of go.
I know, puppy.
The gentleman in the carriage like yells again, "Why are we stopped? We are going to be late for this soiree." And it covers up the little puppy noise as Dupois gets behind the carriage quietly. And he just
Sorry,
flattens
mischief.
himself. He leans this like maybe mid-20s gentleman leans out of the carriage and says, "Soldier, why are you holding us up? We are late for the Count's festivities."
Can Dupois punch him?
Oh yeah, he is leaning out.
Yeah.
He's exposed.
Yes, Dupois can punch him. Please roll me a brawl check.
Oh gosh.
Excellent. Okay. Let me see. Oh, let me see
Which
that.
Actually, before you roll it,
Carriage?
The guy hanging out of the carriage, yeah.
roll
Like
it
the guest
with a advantage die because he is looking forward at Pressi, and you are coming up behind him out of nowhere. So roll it with a bonus die.
Pressi says, I don't want to miss this either. As he looks over.
All right, roll me damage as you come up behind him and just punch him in the side of the head.
Okay. Let me see.
Ooh, all right, let's see. All right, so you slam him in the side of the head, and that is enough for him to have to roll a Constitution check to see if he goes unconscious.
Oh, come on.
Holy crap! Did I do that right? I did that right?
No.
Oh, no. You
No.
didn't.
No, you have to D100.
Darn.
Thank goodness.
Well, no, that would have been good.
Oh, no.
But that's
I mean, it's
That's
so
still pretty
bad.
bad.
all right. So you come up and you punch him in the side of the head, and this Aristo's wig falls off as he slumps over the open window of the carriage. What are Babin and Hugel doing at this moment?
As soon as Babin sees Dupois deck this guy, he's gonna head towards where Pressi is, and he's gonna make a beeline straight for the footman.
Okay.
Because that's probably the next person we got to take out.
And Hugel, you see another figure sort of like move in the back of the carriage as this is happening. You realize that there is somebody else in the carriage with this gentleman.
I'm going there.
All right, so Babin, you are running for the footman who has leaned over and is looking back at Dupois, his mouth agape at this moment in this instant of shock. What are you going to do, Babin?
How high is he on this carriage?
I mean, he sits pretty high, but there's like a step to kind of jump up to the seat if you wanted to get up there.
Babin's gonna climb up there and punch him.
Okay, so you sprint across from your place where you're hiding. He has his back to you as you do this, so you can make a brawl check to just clobber this guy who's on the back of the carriage or in the seat of the carriage.
Is he all right? So I'm looking around.
Okay. Where's that?
We're Ocean 11 this.
The driver of the carriage, with his mouth still open and sort of doing the looking between Pressi and Dupois in this instant.
Is it the unarmed weapon?
It's gonna be do you have a brawl? Did I?
Yeah, that's an unarmed weapon.
Yep.
The skill fighting brawl.
Okay, I see it. Oh no.
All right, so you leap up and you swing at the gentleman in the seat. Actually, roll that. I meant to tell you, roll with the bonus dice. He's not looking at you, so you can roll that again with the other dice.
So I click on the white one?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, but because of the bonus die, you succeed. So you leap up and you just come down and do you hit him with the wooden hand on the back of the head?
Yes.
All right, roll me damage for the footman.
Okay.
Does he get a separate weapon for that hand?
Right.
Or is it just unarmed?
How do I roll the damage?
Oh, actually, you know what? It rolled it for it. It says 6 damage. So
Holy crap!
All right. So he also
He
now.
kind of did like the strong backhand, and I'm sure it's a solid wooden hand, so it's kind of just like a boom.
Ow.
All right. So, Pressi, you see this tall shadow loom up over the driver, and there is a cracking sound as the driver goes unconscious and tumbles out of the seat towards you on the ground. Do you want to try to catch him or get out of the way?
I try to catch him.
All right, roll me a dexterity roll. Pressi moves to catch
Run
him,
out sometime.
and the driver just crashes to the ground with a thud.
2 points though. Spend that luck.
Nah, not for this.
What is this guy?
Why aren't you guys risky like me?
All right, so Hugel, you are sprinting toward the back of the carriage, the door on your side, where you see a figure sort of moving in the back with where this gentleman is. What are you
I'm gonna
doing?
open the door and go, don't worry, nobody's going to hurt you, and I'm gonna punch him.
All right, so you open the door. You say this as you see a pristinely dressed woman.
Oh, great.
And roll me a fighting brawl to punch her in the face.
Yeah. Oh my god!
All right, so you...
points.
Just use them. Just use them.
It's 12, right?
It's 12.
Well, yeah.
You guys know how much my luck would go down?
What is it now?
51.
That's more luck than I have. Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Then I'll spend it. I'll punch her.
All right, roll me some damage.
God damn it. That luck's gonna...
So you
One
punch
Roll
you
20. Why?
punch this woman in the face, and her little pristine nose, you do hear a crack, and she's like, and kind of falls backward into the seat, like slumping against the guy who's hanging out the window, and just sort of starting to. You see her face. She looks like she's about to panic. She inhales a breath.
I just hand over the mouth.
All right, so you cover her mouth, and she just screams into the hand, so it is completely muffled.
Dupois, this is on you.
No. Dupois will open the door and like sort of get the guy who's hanging out.
The woman is trying to sort of kick at you to get you off of her in a panic.
Can I roll to like sort of put my body on top of hers to keep her still so Dupois can get a hold of her?
Sure, you can roll a fighting
Right.
brawl against her, and if you succeed, you manage to pin her before she can do it.
Hard success. Holy shit.
Oh, let's see. Hers is a fighting brawl. Do-do-do. So you two are sort of scuffling in the back as you're kind of like rolling back and forth. Like,
Push it.
do you want to push it?
No, it's too much. I was saying it's way
Oh.
too. That's way too much to push it to an extreme.
All right, so so Dupois, as you are like pulling open the door to get this guy, you see Hugel and this woman in this dress just sort of like rolling around, like fighting in the back of the carriage. The carriage, Babin, you're up on the top, and the carriage is shaking around now.
Babon is gonna take the reins of the carriage and try and just keep the horses steady.
Okay.
Well, as best as he can with the one hand. He's gonna like wrap the reins into his one good hand and just kind of hold it, just to keep everything steady.
Possible? Could I start stripping the rider of his clothes? Because I was going to try to change real quick.
Sure.
Like, I'll probably spend the rest of this time trying to do that.
All right. So Pressi drags away the driver and starts taking his clothes. Hugel, roll me another fighting brawl check.
Really, you're gonna make me do this?
You can do it, Katy.
Of
You can do
course.
it.
Okay, it's a success.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
By 1 point.
By 1 point.
1 point.
Yeah, so this time you managed to pin her down, and you've got her like muffled. She can't scream.
Dupois, knock her out.
Okay.
So
I'll do
so with Hugel holding her, you have advantage dice to just crack her over the back of the head.
it. Okay.
Roll damage.
Okay. There you
Uh,
go.
She is unconscious. And there's this little squeak from underneath Hugel's hand.
Dupois
so you-
got his big fucking meat hands.
Good thing Pressi wasn't there to see that.
Yeah.
So you have acquired 2 aristocrats and 1 driver and a carriage.
Okay.
What do you guys want to do?
Hugel sits up like, she's a lot more fight in her than I realized.
You handled it well, though.
Thank you.
Good job all around. Look. Just thumbs up, everybody.
Babon kind of pokes his head down. Yeah.
Pressi comes out of the bushes wearing the rider's outfit. It's like we gotta hurry before another one shows up.
Hugel looks at the two, the man and the woman, and then looks at Babin and Dupois. Well,
I will take the man's uniform.
You can't be serious.
I think it'll fit you.
I don't think any of the outfits will be able to hold the puppy.
I mean, I won't be dressed. I'll be hiding. I can take care of the puppy.
Okay.
I don't know if Babin can actually fit in any of that.
Can he fit? Can either of them fit in these outfits?
Because he's 40 and he's like a big.
I want both Babin and Dupois to roll luck checks to see if they can manage to get this outfit to look normal.
Okay.
If we have to, I'll switch.
Where's the luck at? Oh, there it is.
Under
I
the-
see it.
Oh.
Can I roll to see if the writer's outfit was a little baggy?
Sure.
This was going so well.
No,
So well.
the rider's outfit seems to fit very comfortably on Pressi. Meanwhile, between the two of them, Babin has like the pants and Dupois has like the shirt, and they're trying these on. And it's like Dupois, the buttons are like pulling on the shirt, and Pressi's got the pants like halfway up, and he's doing that jumping like.
These are like high waters. Okay. Well.
This doesn't look like it's going to work.
What about you? Would you be able to fit in one of these? It would be weird just having just the caravan driver. We're in this together, right?
Yes.
Hugel, you do look at these outfits, and you figure you could fit better in either one than these other two larger gentlemen.
Yeah. I imagine Dupois like smash cut to him in the dress very poorly.
I mean, if I have to, I'll wear the dress. Maybe.
And while Dupois is like trying to fit this shirt, out of one of the pockets of the jacket falls a nice calligraphy written invitation to Count Funnelick's party. So there is an invitation that you have acquired.
Useful.
Fine. I'll wear a costume dress thing, whatever.
I know how to drive a carriage if you want me to take that role.
Pressi, roll me a luck to see if you think you'd fit into one of the outfits in the back.
Would like Bat the fail be I fit in the dress perfectly?
Yes, absolutely.
Success.
Actually, I kind of actually wanted to fail that. That would have been really funny.
I did too. So it looks like I'm gonna have to go on a dress. Fine, let's move these. Help me move this body so I can change.
Yeah, I help.
All right, so you guys quickly move the unconscious Aristos and their driver into the woods.
Yep.
And quick change into.
Hugel pointedly goes to like another area to change.
I guess the man likes his privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dupois, you can see that the driver's outfit won't fit very well, but you think if you take off your army jacket, you can pass for a driver, at least.
That's what I figured.
So I'm dressed as the nobleman guy in the back?
Yes. So you switch out the jacket for the other. So Babin, what are you doing?
Well, while they're all changing, he's gonna stay with the carriage. Like, he's gonna stay where he is with the reins, just keeping the carriage there.
Okay.
And kind of just looking around and trying to figure out what he's gonna do besides just hide within the carriage somehow. Because I have a very nice military uniform on, and clearly not an aristo.
While you're up there, seeing as you're up higher, just make a spot hidden check for me.
Okay.
12 ninjas appear.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Everything appears quiet.
wonderful.
He's just kind of still keeping the horses contained,
So,
muttering under his breath.
Are there any
"Can
nice
they move any
cigars in here
faster?"
or anything?
what's that?
Are there any nice cigars in here or anything? While I'm waiting?
Give me a spot hidden roll to see if you can find anything interesting in the carriage. Oh, yep. So you find some nice cigars. You find like the little cigarello ones, and there's also like a little tray set up with a couple decanters of like a red and a white wine. Like it's very very fashionable. There's even some snacks for the ride, like some nice posh snacks that they have set up in here. And as Pressi is getting comfortable in the back of this carriage with his outfit, Hugel, you put on your outfit, get the wig situated, kind of tidy up a little bit. And when Hugel comes out of the tree line, Hugel has done an amazing job of dressing up in this outfit. Like Hugel looks pristine as this beautiful woman with the wig, and you almost are surprised for a second. You think the aristocratic woman has walked out of the tree line.
Yeah.
What's your appearance?
Long blonde hair.
I mean, like the stat, isn't that a stat or something?
APP.
Yeah.
It's 50, but now
Okay.
it's like Hugel looks amazing. Like Hugel looks like maybe he should have gone into like being a spy for the army, because he just pulls this off amazingly.
That contour is amazing.
Great job fitting into the corset.
I really should sign up for French Revolution Drag Race.
Dupois, as I like pull out a glass of wine for him.
Oh, thank you.
Hugel is just like noticeably annoyed and just walks over huffing and looks at you, Press. He's like, what are their names? Do you know their names?
Let's see in this invitation here. Dupois?
Do we know their names, Jeanette? Does the invitation say?
Is it on the invitation?
The invitation is addressed to Count Violette.
Okay.
So you're not sure about if the woman would be his wife or just a guest with him, but
Yeah, you just say Monsieur, Madame Violette. It'll work.
all right. So, Babin, do you want to try to hide in the carriage?
I'm good at this. Babon is going to turn to the rest of the group, say, perhaps a bodyguard of some sort?
You're an old war buddy. Pats his shoulder.
And then,
Fired after he blew his hand off.
he's gonna...
Go
Is there
ahead.
parts of, like, his uniform he could take off to make it less military-y looking?
Yeah, he could take off the coat and the other fixings, and he could be in just like his pants and his dressed down shirt, and he would look a little bit less dressed for an aristocratic servant, but still not soldier like.
Okay, so he's gonna do all that and kind of stash it in the carriage somewhere.
And you do notice there is a spot like at the back of the carriage that someone could hold and ride at the back. You know, like they do sometimes, where they can hold on, like if they have extra manservants.
Yeah, he'll go take that position and just stand back there.
All right.
Okay.
Go
Because
ahead.
as a bodyguard, he'd want to be keeping an eye out for everything, so it kind of fits.
This will be a long shot, but is there any way any of us would know who this count is? Like maybe he deals in specific trades or something? Or where he lives or background?
Roll me a luck check, Scott.
Oh.
Pressi has not heard of him. Everybody else can if they want to. We'll see if anybody has heard of this Violette.
Oh yeah! Oh boy!
Dang.
Nope.
Oh.
Okay,
All right.
so
Well, you know him personally.
well, Dupois
Perfect.
has definitely heard of him. In fact, when you taste the wine, you are just like, you know the vintage. It comes from the Violette Vineyards, and so you know that he is in the wine business. And
Okay.
and Hugel, you have heard the name through channels because you do acquire, different goods and stuff, and you're in that kind of in the market for things, for trade and things like that. But Dupois is personally a very much a connoisseur of this gentleman's product. In fact, he's probably passed out from drinking too much of it many nights in the taverns and bars of Paris.
Yeah, you know.
All right, so as you are just finished kind of getting yourselves all, together, you hide your uniforms in the carriage, you kind of hide your weapons underneath the seats. You hear the clop clop of another carriage coming up the road, and you realize that you need to get moving.
All right, I get up on the seat, and yeah.
And Babin hops onto the back and holds on.
Yeah.
So, Dupois, roll me a ride.
I have one of my skills is drive
yes,
carriage.
Do that one.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
So there we go.
All right.
Drive carriage.
So Dupois, as if you are all surprised, as there's almost not even a lurch to the carriage starting to roll. Dupois expertly directs the carriage back onto the road proper and up the road toward the gates of the mansion ahead. And the clop, 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 as you are taken through the gates. And as you go through the gates, Dupois and Babin have a better eye on the mansion itself because you're outside. You can see now the 3-story building. It's a mix of architectural styles. Like you see, it looks like some classical Greek with some medieval buttresses here and there. It looks like they were trying to maybe imitate a tower type appearance, but it's also got some Gothic ruins from Old English design, and it's just so haphazard that it's somewhat unsettling to see. So as your carriage moves closer, it seems like this building just sort of looms over you, and you almost get this feeling God, that it could just collapse in on itself. It looks so it's just so strange the way it's been built and designed. And you also notice that it seems there are almost no true right angles to any one part of the structure. Even the roof line does not appear straight. It's just everything seems slightly off, and it's just something, it's disturbing enough that Babin and Dupois can roll me sanity checks.
Oh no, I knew that was coming.
All right.
All right, let's see. Ooh.
Excellent.
Nice.
So,
wow.
So as strange as this appears, you both sort of just shrug it off as aristos and their crazy, insane expenses that they do.
Dupois just that's not safe.
Babin is like, they're so cultured. Look at all of that design.
So, the carriage, you come up and around, and the path goes straight for a ways, and then there's a circular driveway that leads kind of to the front of the building itself. Okay. And you can see a lot of the other people who have arrived have gotten out of their carriages, and the carriages are kind of being driven around and parked along. And you actually notice a few starting to kind of come back down and park along the road itself because there's just so many. So you see that the gate, as you go through the gates, you see that there are 4 men in their servant uniforms. You roll up to where the entrance is, and a footman walks down. He has a whip at his side, and he walks over to the coach and pulls open the door as just as you're pulling it to a stop, Dupois. And he draws the door open and holds it open and nods at Pressi and Hugel inside and kind of moves aside for you to exit the carriage.
Hugel sits down like she was sipping a glass of champagne, and she looks at Pressi and
Pressi goes first, and he goes around the other side and offers the hand, doing that 1800s.
She takes it and leans close and whispers, "If you so much as touch me, so help me God, I will have your hand like the Baron's."
Don't worry, this is just for an act.
I don't care.
All right, so as the two of you now kind of get a look at this house, both of you roll me sanity checks.
Angles.
No!
Katie, that's 8.
It's 8, Katie.
No,
Katie, that's
you
8.
Angles.
You can't push
you
sanity.
can't
You
spend
can't- oh,
luck
no.
on sanity checks.
Oh,
Well,
You can't push sanity or luck rolls.
Yes.
rest in pieces.
All right, so
R.I.P. in pieces.
you each are going to lose 1 point of sanity as the creepy factor of the house sort of like it sends a chill down your spines. There, like you both feel like there's something not right.
I don't like this place.
And the footman
I'm
who
collapsing
walked
on
out, he leans over and looks up at Dupois and says, "You could take the carriage back down the road."
Nods down the footman.
At this point, Babin's going to hop off the back and walk over to stand behind Pressi and Hugel.
He looks at you questioningly and he says, "You can go back and have a drink at the tavern with the carriage, my friend."
Oh,
Oh, this is my old warvet friend. Yeah, let me introduce you.
Roll me a fast talk check.
Okay. Oh, good. He's the charmer, but he isn't the fast talker, apparently.
Uh-oh.
hey,
Oh!
just succeeded.
Wow.
Oh, my apologies. And he bows a little. My apologies, sir. I did not know. Please then. You are all welcome, madame. And he steps aside as he shuts the door to the carriage and taps the side of it, signaling Dupois to pull the carriage back out and around.
He does.
That rag that the carriage driver originally gave Pressi, he hands over, and he's like, "Here, polish your hand, make it look nice."
Babin takes it and just like subtly behind his back is polishing his wooden hand.
All right, so Dupois is pulling the carriage around and heading back down the driveway. You three see a double set of doors open. You see a bunch of other revelers have walked in through the doors into the foyer of the house. What do you
I
do?
want to look around and see if there are anyone that we know.
Okay, make me a spot hidden check.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Okay, I obviously am going to do the same for a different
Okay. All right,
Ooh.
so looking around, you don't see any really familiar faces from the court or anything like that. Which, in one hand, is pretty good because at this point, maybe no one will recognize who you are.
Hmm.
Maybe we can do some scouting.
Yes, we can get a layout for how this building is set up.
Maybe
And-
who's friends with the count?
All right, so the footman looks at you all and he says, "Please, the party through the doors into the foyer, please.
Thank you.
Bon chance."
She, like a good French aristocratic woman, allows her date to lead her.
All right, so you are
You can
led.
tell Pressi himself seems reluctant, and you can tell he's definitely like, I'm just doing this for the act.
All right,
And Babin's gonna walk behind them with like his arms behind his back as he walks, just kind of keeping the whole bodyguard idea going.
all right. So as you all walk up the steps and cross the small porch and enter through the double doors, one of the first things you see is situated in the center of this grand foyer. There is this man. He's standing in the center. He is dressed in papal robes. His right hand is extended out in front of him. You see one of the guests has walked up and is kneeling and is kissing the golden ring on the Pope's finger. And you hear, well, actually make me listen checks to see if you hear what he says to this figure.
Oh gosh. How do I keep succeeding on the listens?
I knew this was going to happen. I burned all my luck at the beginning.
All right, so Babin and Hugel, you hear him say very low, "I swear to never speak of this night," as he kisses the Pope's ring. and then he stands to walk away. As you're looking at this popple figure, you realize that the skin on the face is flayed, almost like somebody like pulled it away with the skill of an anatomist. And it's hands also. As he moves away, you see that the hands are the same way. Where the ring is on the finger, it's all flayed and just this underskin flesh on it as well. And you're just completely just disturbed by the fact that you realize this is not a man. This is like a dead body that's standing here in the center of this room. And another guest walks forward and kneels and kisses the ring. And you hear again, "I swear to never speak of this night."
Hey, Jeanette, I have a question before you... What the fuck?
I warned you!
This is a place of nightmares.
Yes.
Well,
should never
you guys
come
are
to this
guests.
party.
Go for it.
Pressi really needs to be in the dress to compromise this, like, just balance it out, you know?
Make me, all three of you make me sanity checks.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Sure.
It's...
Sure.
Nope.
I passed.
All right, so Hugel, you lose 1 point of sanity.
Yeah.
As you take in this disturbing sight, and also Babin and Pressi, you two each lose 1 point of
I
sanity.
just saved y'all's asses because that could have went bad.
And you realize that you're next to walk up, and you see some of the guests looking expectantly for you to also move up and kiss this Pope's ring on your knees.
I think, Pressi, you actually, because I'm imagining like we're very proper about like my arms and your arm. You actually feel Hugel like tighten up. She's a little freaked out.
So I still didn't hear what I'm supposed to say when I go up there, right?
You did not hear them, no.
Uh-oh.
The other two heard.
Babin will go first.
Okay.
And trying to not to be creeped out at all and kind of suppressing a little bit of a gag reflex.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to kneel down, hesitantly kiss the ring, and say a little louder what he's going to repeat it a little louder so that Pressi can hear what was said.
So, Pressi, you hear Babin say, "I swear to never speak of this night," and kisses the ring of this figure.
And then he's going to get up and just very, like, rigidly start walking in a little bit further.
Hugel pushes Pressi.
I go. Like you push me and I like take like 2 half steps forward and look back at you reluctantly and then go up and do it. We shall not speak this night.
Now, Pressi, when you're like doing this, having been brought up in the church, you are distinctly aware in this moment that having a figure like this could actually be very hard evidence against Fenelic, but in the same instance, you'd also have to figure out how to abscond with the human body. But it is a sign that Fenelic is not who the queen maybe thinks he is.
Yeah.
All right, we got the evidence. Let's go. And just put it up. No, I'm kidding.
Pull out your Polaroid. Go, go.
Everybody in the party just tackles
Driver.
Pressi. No, okay. So he goes and mingles, tries to cope with this.
And Hugel?
She takes a breath and why are you so Dylan? What are you doing? She like takes a deep breath to sort of steady herself because she was freaked out, but not that freaked out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes forward and just very like the actual female woman she is, you know, hasn't, you know, knows proper, you know, manners. So she very politely, demurely curtsies and kisses his ring and says, I shall not speak of tonight. And backs up, and when she turns to face Pressi, Babin, she just like making this weirdest face.
No, just look at us. We need alcohol.
And at that moment, one of the servants opens the doors to your left, and it opens on a dining room that has a massive table. It looks like it can seat like 40 people. There's huge candelabras that are all lit with candles. You can smell the greasy smell of the wax. And it's actually, the smell's like, it kind of stinks a little bit, but okay. You do see on the wall a painting of Fenelic. It is just this huge painting, and he looks like, let's see. I'm going to show you guys in Roll20 Count Fenelic.
He looks like a swell guy.
Yeah.
He looks so friendly.
He looks surprisingly
Just
friendly.
in the background, and he's awesome.
I just want to be his friend.
Taller than I thought.
Yes, the B-O, no. So let me see. I'm going to put it up on the site too, up on Twitch, so that everybody can see. So yes, that is Count Fenelic. And that is the picture. Like, you see this portrait of him on the wall. Meanwhile, so Dupois, were directed to take your horse and carriage and head back down the cobblestone toward town to find a place to park it. What are you doing?
So as I'm doing that, I'm keeping my eye out for Fenelic's carriage. The one with the white with the red trim, if I can.
Make me a spot hidden check.
Okay.
All right, so as the rest of your group, you watch them ascend the stairs and they go through these open doors. You start to pull the carriage away, and as you come around the side of the house, making the circle, you can see behind the house, parked kind of around on the other side, it looks like the carriage, Count Fenelic's carriage, is parked back there.
Okay.
The horses have been taken away and probably put in a stable or something like that. But yeah, you can see it behind. And you can see beyond that, you see like the dark shape of the gardens that Hugel described.
Okay. Are there any, like, how far away am I going to have to drive to find a parking spot?
So you know that as you guys were coming up, other carriages were starting to park along the cobblestone, and you guys were one of the last carriages to arrive, so you would have to park closer to town. Make me
We'll check with this big.
Make me an intelligence check for an idea roll.
Oh, intelligence. Okay. I will spend the 2 points of luck.
Okay. So as you're driving around the circular driveway, there is a pretty good line of sight from the front door to the gate, but it has gotten dark out now. And you think that it would be possible for you to just kind of abandon your carriage if you wanted to off to the side.
Okay.
Even pull it into the tree line before you leave the property itself.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. I'll do that.
Okay. What do you want to do once you kind of pull it off and leave the carriage?
I will. I'll sort of park it in the trees on the same side that I saw the carriage on, his carriage, and I will slip into the tree line there and sort of make my way up towards the garden and the carriage where it's at.
Okay, just roll me like a stealth roll, and you can roll with an advantage die.
Okay.
Ooh,
Hey,
nice.
Look at that.
All right, so Dupois and the puppy disappear into the foliage.
I took my puppy for luck.
Meanwhile, inside, so the guests are moving to the dining room, and as they do, the servant at the doorway is handing out masks for everyone to wear. And as you three pass through, you're each handed these masks to put on. As you
Chris-
cross...
He looks back at everybody and smiles nervously.
Inside the dining room, the other guests have kind of started to circle the dining table, and they're kind of laughing amongst themselves and twittering to each other and giggling and just having a good time, sort of laughing. As you guys enter the room, everyone has put on their masks, and they've circled the table, which is covered in food. There's towering plates of sweetmeats, there's baskets of bread, there's whole roasted fowl. And you see this person, this man, sort of get kind of like moved through the crowd and pushed up onto the table, and he sort of clatters a few plates as he does so. You see that he seems to be dressed as Marie Antoinette. So he is moved up and onto the table by the crowd. And you see another one of the guests come forward, and they're carrying a whip. And as he gets up on the table, this guest unfurls the whip and sort of kind of teasing a little bit, sort of whips the whip at this guy, and it kind of cracks him just slightly, and he lets out a little scream and kind of moves along the table, knocking things over as he goes. And everyone around you starts laughing, kind of uproarious, like a couple people seem disturbed by it. A couple people toward the back are kind of keeping quiet, like, and then when someone nudges them, they're like, and then this person with the whip moves a little closer and whips Marie Antoinette again. And this time, the man dressed as Marie Antoinette's like, ooh, and kind of looks around, sort of starting to look a little afraid. And then you realize that as this person clears the crowd with the whip, it's not actually a man. It's a woman dressed as King Louis, and is using this whip to whip Marie Antoinette. And everyone is shrieking with laughter.
What is this eyes wide shut bullshit we just wandered into?
That's what I was thinking.
It's on his man.
That's a nice mask.
Babin
keep
is,
recover, guys.
as a very devout monarchist, he is, like, he has a mask on so you can't see his actual face, but he is, like, jaw to the floor, gaping at what's going on.
Even Hugel is, and she hates the monarchy. She's just like...
So,
Like, you can see through the mask. Like, Pressi's eyebrows are like, what?
What do these
He's
masks
like,
look
oh
like?
shit.
they're various, just like some have plumes of feathers, some are more simple. Like, they're just like an array of like party masks.
Okay.
For like a masquerade ball, kind of. Some people have them with the little pole that they just hold them up. Others are wearing them where they're actually worn over and around their face. And it doesn't seem like the gentleman dressed as Marie Antoinette, like, he kind of and Louis whips him again, and you realize at some point that it looks like maybe there might be some padding in the rear end of his trousers that he's wearing underneath the skirt and the shoes. And everybody's sort of laughing and having a good time and enjoying it. And then as the laughter kind of crescendos, the doors at the other end of the dining room swing open, and Count Fenelick comes strolling in. And as he does, the mood in the room sort of changes as everyone kind of just turns to watch the host approaching. You all as well. He strolls in, and some people you can tell are kind of excited that he's there, but a few other people you definitely get like this fear, like they're terrified of this man, but they never tell anyone. And he looks at the man on the table, and he smiles this horrible smile, and he says, "Mon amour, so beautiful and so doomed." And he looks to the woman dressed as King Louis, and he says, "Continue." So she pulls the whip back and she whips him again, but this time it's much more vicious than before. And he kind of cries out this time as you see blood where the whip hits. And then she whips him again, and he starts scuttling down the table as he falls over, and the plates and the dishes start to fall, And some people still hoot with laughter, but others are kind of pressing themselves against the wall, sort of in terror of this. And he's like, the Count looks and smiles and says, "Again!" And Louis just whips him again and again and again, and is like beating this guy bloody with the whip. Just tearing him up with this whip. And then, almost to this silent signal, you all are left sort of standing against the wall as the crowd surges forward and they start attacking him. And they are kicking and they are stomping this man as he howls at them. And they're climbing on chairs and kicking and stomping. I need you guys to roll sanity checks.
Well, do we have enough evidence yet?
What the actual fuck is going on?
Babin has a GoPro camera in his hat. He's like, "Hell."
This reminds me of a certain set of curtains in a certain underground area that had pigs.
Oh my god.
Oh, extreme. Thank God.
Okay, so, Hugel, you will lose 1 point of sanity as you are pressed probably behind Babin and Pressi.
Yeah, I definitely am hiding myself.
And just watching this horrific scene unfold as you
I'm surprised it's only one.
I'm so happy I'm not in the dress.
And they're kicking and kicking and kicking, and Fenelk is just waiting, like waiting. And then, after a very long, uncomfortable amount of time, he holds up his perfectly manicured hand. And they cease and step back. Their shoes bloody. And he stoops down and looks at the man who's now whimpering and bleeding and crying. He kisses him on the cheek, and he ruffles his hair, knocking the wig off the man's head where it was still askew. And he gestures to 2 footmen who are standing by the door he came through. And he smiles and he says, almost tenderly, "Look after him." And they come over and pick up the injured man and carry him out into the corridor. Fenelk turns around to Louis, gives her a huge winning smile, like the biggest smile you've seen him give. And he says, "Come! It is time to dance," as he starts leading you out from the dining hall and through the foyer. Dupois, what are you doing as you have left the carriage and are darting through the cover toward the house?
Oh, puppy.
Oh. Yeah, I'm just going to try and make it as close to the carriage as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure there's no one around, and then try and open it and like look around inside of the carriage.
Okay. What are you looking for?
Before I do anything else. Papers, anything out of place, some like fucking blood, if there's any in there.
Roll
Just
me
like anything suspicious.
Roll me a spot hidden check.
Okay. Oh boy. That was bad.
All right, so you climb into this carriage and you are digging around inside, and it is pristine. Like it has been, like it's always kept perfectly clean. So you do not find anything, like evidence-wise inside this carriage.
I should have expected that, yeah. Okay. Are there windows nearby that I can look in?
All right, so where you are, there are in fact a couple windows along the western side of the house, and also you can see that there is a double door that you can tell leads into the stables and the carriage house, and that's next to that. There's a door that looks like it leads inside to the back of the mansion. Looking really quickly, you see people shuffling around in what appears to be a kitchen that's on the other side of that door.
Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna peek through some of the windows, just see what's in there, what's on this side of the house, you know?
Okay. All right, so you kind of poke your head up through a kitchen window, and you sort of look inside. The puppy's head comes up alongside yours, out from under the collar. And you see that there is a staff inside that are quietly working. They appear to be making some kind of desserts, you think.
Okay.
As you see them pulling what looks like some pies or something out of an oven. And they're just very quietly, like, they don't even look like they're talking to each other as they're kind of crossing and just mechanically kind of doing their tasks. You see that there's a door opposite the one at the back of the house, and you can see through an open doorway past the kitchen. It looks like this dining room beyond.
Okay. Boy. Can I, like, go around to the garden then?
Sure.
And see if there's, like, a hedge or something I can sort of duck behind and see what's going on there real quick?
Okay, so you move around behind the house to the garden, and all right, so make me a spot hidden roll as you come around the house and go toward the
Sure.
garden.
Oh. Can I spend 1 point of luck to make that an extreme?
Of course.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, so you come around and you see this overgrown garden. You see all these spiky kind of pinpoints of needles and thorns from these rose bushes that are growing all around. You see that there is a path of black gravel that leads through the overgrown areas. And you can see from this vantage point at regular intersection, it looks like the path sort of splits around what appear to be ornamental fountains. Looking at the closest one, the first thing you notice in the moonlight that has come out is it appears the water has a reddish pink tint to it. The statues on top of them, you can see in the distance, but the one closest, you're able to kind of duck around, and you see it looks like the Madonna, holding her child and gazing down at the child with adoration. But looking more closely, you see that she has fangs in her mouth where her lips are parted. And it looks, instead of her longingly looking at this child in her arms, it looks like she's going to bite the child on the head with these fangs. And you immediately note how blasphemous this statue is.
Oh, yeah.
This is completely wrong. And then you kind of duck and hide in the tree line a little bit. So meanwhile, inside, the party has moved back through the foyer with the dead Pope. And Fenelic leads you through another door into what appears to be a ballroom. Inside this ballroom, it's a long room. It's got very beautiful floors that look like they're made for dancing. And when you look up, the ceiling it's somewhat disturbing. So looking up at it, you just kind of stare at this fiery depiction of, it looks like one of the Crusades. Pressi, you think maybe the siege of Constantinople from the Fourth Crusade, but it's not a heavenly motif. It's disturbing and dark and just sort of terrifying in its own way. So as everyone is led into this room, and they sort of mill about, and you're looking at the ceiling, you hear a gasp as on a small raised stage at one end of the room, you see a small boy start to take the stage. He steps up 1 step, then 2 steps, and then turns to face the crowd. And you also find yourselves gasping as you're looking on the Dauphine, the son of Marie Antoinette and King Louis, stands on the stage, though just this afternoon you were told he was dead. I need you 3 to make me sanity rolls.
What the fuck, Jeanette?
It's a zombie! Oh, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. It's a zombie!
Alright, so Babin is steeled himself against this, but The other two, you each take 2 points of sanity damage from seeing this. Babin, you realize in an instant that while it is a very good likeness of the Dauphine, it is actually not even a boy. This is a small man dressed in makeup to be made to look like the dead son of the king.
Babin's just still, his mouth is just dropped.
I just realized that like French didn't really have cigars. They had like cigarettes.
Yep.
So maybe like with those cigarettes, I'm like nervously lighting one and giving one to everybody.
Hugel just says no, thank you.
Babin's not. He's just staring straight on at this.
And it probably drops immediately out of his mouth because he was like lighting it on the way in and saw that and was saying anything.
So, you see a woman sort of take the stage next to him, and she is a younger woman. She has red rouge, which indicates she's a courtesan, and she kind of walks up behind this small man dressed in this outfit, and you realize that he's a dwarf. And she puts her hand kind of on the small of his back for a moment, and then steps aside. And everyone's sort of looking around, somewhat disturbed by this. But then Fenelix strides forward, and the other aristos around, they continue to have this discomforted look, but they try to hide it with smiles as he passes by. But you're all starting to get like a very like everyone seems very disturbed to be in here, like you almost like you don't want to be here. As Fenelix walks over and steps up onto the stage and approaches this woman and this small man. And the woman steps away as he gets there. And Fenelix looks at the small man and he says, "Ah, it is time for your masterpiece, Dietrichson." And he turns and he looks at all of you in the room. And the little man, he cringes at this and he looks around and Fenelix says, "It is time for the music from beyond." You see the man, but my Count, it is not ready for this night. It must be practiced. I have not practiced enough. You will not like it. I need new strings for my violin, sir. I'm not prepared. You all realize he's terrified. He does not want to do this. And Fenelix glares at him. And you see him freeze up as Fenelix stares him down. And he reaches down and lifts a violin out of the music case slowly and starts to put it to his chin. So what are you guys doing as this is all happening?
I mean, Hugel's just standing with the other two, not making she doesn't want to make a scene.
If there's any way I could get some like cotton or like, I don't know. I have a bad feeling about the song. After all the crazy crap we just saw.
Babin is gonna lean into Pressi and say, "Isn't that girl here somewhere? The one you fancy?"
Can I do another try to?
You can make a spot hidden check.
Okay.
You don't see Melody, but then everybody is.
I'll spend my 5.
Oh, okay. So it's hard at first because everyone is in their masks, but then you realize, like, you see this one woman turn kind of on the other side of the room, and you realize that it's Melody. She's kind of put herself like 2 steps behind the gentleman she came with, and her body language tells you that she is having none of this. She does not want to be here. This is probably the most terrible thing she's ever seen. And meanwhile, outside, Dupois, you have investigated the kitchens. You have seen this Madonna statue of the garden. You're out behind the stables. And you can make me a listen roll.
Oh, sure. I'll do that.
So you hear, coming from around the other side of the carriage house and stables, on the back side of the house, you hear this announcement. You hear the familiar voice of the Count that you met earlier today, announcing this music from beyond.
It's very loud.
It's very loud. Yes, he seems extremely excited about this.
All right. Well, I guess Dupois kind of smiles because that is going to cover up what he's about to do.
Oh no, Dylan. Oh no.
So he'll sort of hang out, eyeing the Madonna statue across the way. Make sure there's no one around that he can see, and just wait for this music to start up, I guess.
Okay, so inside, you see the dwarf. He puts the bow to the strings and he pulls it back across the strings, almost like a marionette without control, and draws a note. It's this caterwauling shriek that just makes everyone stagger back. So, Dupois, you hear this. What do you do?
Well, as that starts up, I'm going to sort of hunker walk, like, video game sneak walk over to one of the fountains. And I'm going to try and see if the statue is, like, connected to the rest of the fountain, or if it's like a topper that you can just sort of slip off,
All right, let's see. So, looking at these, make me a quick spot hidden check.
Okay.
So yeah, you're looking, and these are pretty large statues atop these fountains. It looks like you would have to do some serious work to kind of disconnect them from the design. Like the whole fountain is kind of one.
Shit. All right. Damn it. Like, how much work do I think it would take? Like, how long do I think it would take to get this statue off?
Roll me an idea check.
Okay. Let's see. Would that just be intelligence?
Yeah. Yep, an intelligence roll.
Can I spend the 6 points?
Sure.
Let's do it.
All right, so you spend the 6 points. So looking at these, you can see the other statues in the distance. You think that the easiest one to take down, there is a statue of Cupid kind of off to the right on the far side of the garden, and it looks like you might be able to take that down with a solid blow. And it looks like it's the least cumbersome of all of them.
It also seems less blasphemous, though, at the same time. What other statues do I see besides those two?
So
like,
you see there is the Madonna that's closest to you. Off to the left behind the house appears to be a statue. It looks like it's in the shape of death. The Cupid statue is off to the right-hand side of the garden. At the far back, you can just barely make out what looks like a statue of Icarus with wings spread. And then in the center of the garden, there's a gazebo.
So it's that gazebo.
I'm sure nothing could go wrong. Boy. I don't know. I still want to try for the Madonna statue. I don't know. That seems the most, like, damning of all of them.
All right. So what do you want
like,
to do?
How big is it compared to me?
It's probably about half of Dupois' like torso size.
Okay. That's not awful. I'm gonna try and get it off while the music's going.
All right. How do you want to do that?
Oh boy. That's a good question. Let me see. Can I take my bayonet and, like, sort of get it in, like, work it to sort of free the statue from the rest of the design?
Yeah, you can roll me a strength check with an advantage die as you're using the bayonet to kind of give you leverage to try to disconnect these two from each other. Oh, so you are struggling with it, and you just managed to sort of like work it as there's a couple more of these long, like horrible notes from the house, and the statue kind of comes loose. It kind of breaks a little at the base.
Oh well.
Make me a dexterity check to stop it from falling in the fountain.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, Dupois is like catches and is cradling this statue of the Madonna with the baby in hand, and is like. So you have a statue of the Madonna. Meanwhile, inside the ballroom, so this small dwarf plays a few horrible notes, and everyone is like looking around. A couple people cover their ears, and Fenelic just sort of glares at him, and then Celine, the woman, she steps forward and she says, "Oh, come, we cannot dance to that. Oh, a wedding march then. I now," and she points a hand at Fenelic and the woman who is dressed as Louis. She says, "I pronounce you man and king," like desperately trying to kind of like break this situation up. But doing so, like you see when she says this, the aristos sort of laugh and then laugh a little more around you. A couple of people are crying at the edges of the room, and then some people start to take up, "Long live the king! Long live the king!" And it kind of breaks this moment that Fenelic is having. He stands there looking at all of you for a few moments, and then he turns his glare on this woman, and he just smiles at her. And you guys can see from your vantage point that the eyes are not smiling. They look angry. And he says, "Very well, but you will play the music, Dietrich, at the Grand Carnival of Animals. If you do not, your next costume will be that of a suckling pig." And then he turns and he storms from the room, and the footmen come in and start to guide the guests toward the door as if the party has now ended.
Does he storm through us, or does he storm the opposite direction?
He's storming kind of toward the door, because you guys are at the back.
I'm gonna do something stupid.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Can I try to like sleight of hand just anything out of his pockets? Just like bump into him since there's a shit ton of people in here, you know?
Sure.
I really want to do.
Oh.
Can I spend at one point and making it an extreme?
All right. I'm going to roll to see if he notices this. Let's see.
Oh no.
This is an extreme success. Sleight of hand.
That is a pretty good success.
Don't notice it. Don't notice it. Don't notice it.
All right.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't do anything dumb. Don't do anything dumb.
I did the dumb thing already.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So let's see. Count Fenelic. Where are you, my friend?
Might have been worth all the failures at the beginning.
Might have been.
I'm hoping that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. All right. So let's see.
That, or you just damned us all.
Or that.
All right. So
Run away with your statue. Run away.
take your evidence away. Here we go. Spot hidden. Okay. Oh, it's pretty good.
And then
You
fail.
as he goes by, you sort of reach in, and you are able to kind of just take from his pocket. You get like his like sort of like his purse and his cigarette case out of his pocket, and trying to take them out and just sort of pocket them as he goes by. And he seems to be not paying attention as he storms past and leaves the room.
Well done,
And
Katy.
Oh.
and as the footmen are kind of guiding you all to the door, they're handing out to everyone as they're leaving. They start handing out these small envelopes. And on the outside of it, it says, you are cordially invited to the Grand Carnival of Animals to commence at midnight on Saturday, June 13th. And it says underneath it, attendance is mandatory. So you're each handed one of these as you exit the building and head outside. And everyone is like kind of walking down the road looking for their carriages and things like that as the crowd is dispersing. And you all, what do you guys do?
I am, as we're looking for the carriage, I look at Pressi and Babin, and I pull out the cigarette case and the purse, and I go, well, it wasn't entirely fruitless. And I hold them up.
Make a, I'd say make a, if anybody has a history check.
I mean, I can roll it, but it's gonna fail.
I mean, you never know.
I might
Yeah.
try. It's
Wow.
a skill, but I tried.
I'm gonna just try, just for fun.
Come on, Babin.
Nope.
All right,
You
so
had a better chance of succeeding than us.
It's true.
Wait,
and
how
you,
much is that?
Seven, it
oh,
looks like.
7, 7 to succeed.
I'm gonna luck that.
All right, so
Spend
you
it.
so
Spend
spend
that luck.
spend
I'm
7
gonna spend
luck.
that luck.
All right, so Babin, looking at these items that Hugel holds up for you, you're kind of look at them and the design and like style of them and even the materials, these are at least maybe 100 years old. They're like, and what would be considered antique items, and just it's kind of odd that someone would carry something like this as a day-to-day thing.
He's gonna kind of take it and look closer. This must be 100 years old. Why would he use it?
I don't know. This guy really sucks.
I mean, perhaps he just likes older things.
And as you guys are following this crowd, the three of you make spot hidden checks.
I think I broke Dylan.
Oh, okay. So Hugel and Pressi, as you guys are following the crowd, you recognize the carriage that you rode up the hill in. It's kind of off in the brush. The horses are eating the grass. It's completely unattended. It looks like it's kind of gone a little bit askew as they've kind of gone to where the grass is a little better. And there's no sign of Dupois with the carriage.
I turn around like looking for him.
Yeah, Hugo pockets something in and is like, could he have been captured?
Would he have gone to the rendezvous point?
Dupois, do you want to make me a stealth check with your statue?
Sure.
To which I think I'm going to give you 1 penalty die because you're trying to run with a heavy statue through the foliage.
Okay. Do I have to like roll anything for that? Special?
You roll the white die and it'll pop up, and it's the lower two.
Okay.
Yeah, the lower one will. Oh, look at Dupois!
Wow.
Yeah, so you guys, at the last second, as the crowd is moving through the gate, you see the shape of Dupois. He sort of comes out of the brush and kind of mingles in with the crowd, and he looks like he's carrying a woman in his arms as he runs away down the path. And I think that might be a
I'm
good.
not drunk.
I think that might be a good place to stop.
Yeah.
It's like he's not thinking like over his
Very
head.
jaw drop, like.
Babylon is just like his whole expression the whole evening has been.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so you guys are
Well.
standing where the carriage is left, and you see your driver run off with a woman in his arms. And we'll leave it there.
Okay.
So,
Gosh.
yeah, so we are going to play again in 2 weeks as long everybody's available, which we should.
Can't wait.
Oh gosh.
So before we go, if anybody wants to do any little shout outs of what they're doing, I'll start. Jamey, do you have anything that you're doing?
It's not streaming, but I'm guessing in a D&D game on Saturday. I'm gonna play a human bard and basically just inflict chaos.
Nice.
That's what bards are good for.
It's true.
And then the next day is the game with Katy, so I'm gonna annoy her with my rogue.
Pun it up.
She hates rogues, and I don't help that. She hates rogues.
This is the second campaign I've seen her play a character that pickpockets.
And she doesn't like anybody else playing the rogue, maybe.
I think it's because I'm an assassin rogue, so I get all that extra fun sneak attack stuff.
Okay, that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
and
fair.
then that's all I'm doing.
Okay. How about Katy?
Yeah, so tomorrow at, I believe it's 2:30 Central Time, I'll be playing on Scraticus's channel, the first of Kiana's Feywild One-Shot Wonders, and surprise, surprise, I'm playing a rogue. I'm playing an Inquisitive rogue, so that's going to be fun. Tomorrow night is more Burning Wheel and Off the Table. I also do our D&D 5e campaign there every other Monday, and the other Mondays I'm the keeper for Monster of the Week, which is just already wild. And every other Friday I am on Monster Hearts. We'll be playing this Friday again. We got 2 weeks in a row, which we're blessed. Saturday I'll be over on Power School RPG with Dylan, Jeanette, and Scott. I'm very excited to bring Winra back. I haven't played her forever. I miss my just greedy, thieving daughter so much. She thinks it's okay. That night, I will be again on Scraticus's channel for his Academy series at 10 Eastern Time, 9 Central, facilitating BFF, which is a GM-less game. It's going to be Katy's sleepover. I told everyone to wear their jammies because it's late at night, you know, and it's about being a teenage girl. And then Sunday, I don't know the specific time, but if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see it. Myself and some other members of Off the Table are playing Lady Blackbird, but we're gender swapping the male characters to be females. It's going to be an all-female cast, and we're calling it Lady Brunchbird because we're going to drink mimosas and have fun with that. So
Nice. I like it. And Scott.
Okay, I got a pretty busy weekend this upcoming weekend. So Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard on my channel, Scotty_H00D. I run a Retroverse campaign. Retroverse is 80s, 90s themed like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or Transformers, but with D&D. So you still get the swords and blades and stuff, but you'll get all the crazy neon lights and all that crazy stuff. They're on the quest to slay the first laser dragon, so that will be interesting. And then Saturday we got the Power Score game. Gonna try really hard not to talk about Shift Spice, and then
see, I missed the whole Shift Spice thing.
You did.
It wasn't us.
You
We didn't
did.
start
Wow.
it.
we'll explain in post, but it's a story. And then at 7 o'clock I have my Adventure to Tranquil Sea team, and they're getting ready to try to raid a demon lord in the abyss.
I'm so proud of them.
Valkyries and stuff. We'll see how that goes. But first they gotta go through the infinite staircase, which will be an episode on its own.
Nice.
Oh, fun.
All
So
right.
yeah, I got three games this weekend.
Awesome.
Very nice.
And Dylan.
Hi, I'm Dylan. You can find me at KKRP2 on Twitter. Thursday on the Greyhawk channel at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, I'm going to be on Secrets of Castle Greyhawk. We're going through the original D&D dungeon by Gary Gygax. And we are about to go into the first of 13 demiplanes hidden within. So I'm really looking forward to that. We just have to, possibly make a deal or fight with a devil. So,
Nothing wrong
as
with
you
that.
do.
Either war.
Nothing wrong with that.
Friday, it's not streamed, but my home group that I DM for is also going into the abyss. And they're going to be going to Coast Cheese Realm to either fight or make a deal with frost giants.
Raiding party, yay!
Yeah. Always a
And
good
also,
time.
also they're going to talk with Grazit, so that's fun. Always.
Oh. That's
Yeah,
gonna,
you know.
That's gonna end like the party we were just at.
Yeah.
It probably is, yes. Saturday at 3 o'clock, I'm going to be on Power Score RPG with all these other people, playing Plutoploplina. We're going to be looking for pirate treasure.
My best friend.
Yes!
Wait, what?
She'll be so glad to have Winra back.
We
Get in trouble together. And not this Sunday, but next Sunday, you can find me here again for the finale of our our Haunted Hamlet of Ravens Hill campaign, which I'm really excited for. We're in the middle of a cult headquarters, and I'm separated from the rest of the party at the moment. So
That sounds awfully familiar.
it does.
And
He's also carrying a woman.
she's got a cobalt kind of held in her little arms. Yep. And so I'm Jeanette. I'm at JEBriggs79 on Twitter. So I run the Haunted Hamlet of Ravens Hill. The finale will be on the 15th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This game will be back on July 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then after the Haunted Hamlet game wraps up, we're going to do the Rats of Waterdeep by Lisa Chen and Will Doyle. So I'm working on getting some players together for that, and we'll see who's going to be in the cast, and it'll be a good time. And then I'm looking forward to Saturday because, the Spell Squad wreaks havoc on Portnai and Zaru. I think we may do more damage than Dice Camera Action Waffle Crew does because we're going to be there longer. So
You think? I'm pretty sure it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to break the record. I mean, that's kind of like a record you don't want to pass.
I mean, it's not that we want to. It's just that that's
It's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah, we're kind of good at surpassing records and expectations.
We're kind of good at killing every NPC we come across.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
So even the animals no longer stand a chance thanks to rain. So it's all good.
Poor Horny.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve it.
Now that we have our druid back, maybe now we can keep the animals alive.
Nope.
At least.
Probably not.
Nope.
Probably not. Yeah.
All right. So thanks to those who stuck around with us on Twitch. Thanks to those that watch later and who catch us on YouTube when I get this up. And we are going to say goodnight. So thank you very much. Bye.
Night, everybody.